Hello,
Hi.
Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Maslowski. I'm the chairperson of the Harwich Historic District and Historical Commission. We are calling to order the meeting for February 16th, 2022. It is 6 p.m. We are located in the small hearing room at Town Hall, 732 Main Street in Harwich Center. According to Mass Law, anyone who intends to record the meeting must first notify the chair. At the start of the meeting, we have no attendees other than our staff. So we will move on to open the first public hearing. It is HH 2022-03, Chelsea Nicholas. Owner applicant proposes a partial demolition of the single-family residence on the property for the removal of a kitchen window and to replace it with a door leading out to a wooden deck. The home is over 100 years old according to the town's historic property inventory list. The subject property is 115 Route 28, map 10, parcel W7-1. Now, the applicant is not available this evening, but she did provide us with an email that I want to read into the record. It's addressed to Patty McCura, our assistant. It says, "Hi Patty, thank you so much for your help earlier. Unfortunately, we have to travel and are going to miss the Historic Commission meeting. In our absence, I wanted to provide some details that outline what we are asking for permission to do and to give some context. My fiance and I purchased 115 Route 28 in April 2021 with the intention of restoring the house to act as both our full-time residence and to run a bed and breakfast per the allowances of the Captain's Row Historic District. We are committed to maintaining the historic aesthetic of the house and hope to both set an example and inspire others to continue improving West Harwich. If you will refer to the floor plan that was submitted with our notice of intent, you will see that there is no side yard access from the west side of the main house. In line with our plan to live in the property and run it as a bed and breakfast, we would like to remove a window in the kitchen to install a door that will lead from the kitchen out to a porch or patio. This will provide access to the grounds and better serve our future guests. We propose to use an existing window as the location for the door, as it would be the least disruptive change to the exterior of the house. In addition, the proposed location cannot be seen from either street that abuts the property and actually sits back in the L that forms the kitchen. In an effort to restore some of the original features of the house, if given permission to make this change, we will salvage the window to be removed and use it to replace one of the vinyl windows that was installed by the previous owner. This is also marked on the floor plan. The new door will match the house in both style and materials. Thank you for your consideration. We are available via email or phone to answer questions or concerns. So, application. Any comments from members of the board?
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I've actually been inside the house, and
Yeah.
I know exactly where this would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen it, and it's a great little spot to do exactly what they're thinking. That kitchen, to have the access to the yard, you don't have it. You have to actually go
Right.
out and all the way around.
Right,
So, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, being that we have no one in the public to actually ask if anybody has any questions, are the board members ready to take a vote
Yes.
on this matter tonight?
I move to close the public hearing.
So, Mr. Dona's made a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. And the chair would entertain a motion. We have sample findings and determination here.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like we would be ready for a vote on some findings. Anybody like to make a motion on the findings contained in the notice of intent?
Motion to approve case number HH 2022-03 for the removal of a window at the rear side of the west house and replace it with a door that will be out to a wooden deck. The current location of the window will be, I'm sorry, will be in the kitchen. So I'm just reading their description.
So I
Didn't do
was
a great job.
actually also saying that some
Yeah.
of the details are in this determination.
So scratch that. So you're saying
So everything you just said, in addition to,
is there.
right, and then if you want, if there are any conditions that you'd like to impose on it, we can just include it.
So just so I'm clear, when we're doing this in the future, we're just approving.
So this is, so like we had discussed, this
Yeah,
is
mhm. The new paperwork, yeah.
the new paperwork. It has a draft with a brief description of the work that was proposed, what they've requested, how it falls under historic significance, and then the determination if we decide to impose it or not, and any conditions. So
So motion,
you would
so just a
make,
motion to approve that. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
you would where it's talking about like how it's significant or whether it's not significant, and whether you feel that you would allow the changes proposed. Does that make sense?
Why don't you give us a run through and say how you do it? I'll
Okay,
be
so,
upfront.
so, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the request for, a notice of intent for a demolition permit under the demolition delay bylaw in accordance with the findings that are included on the paperwork. The findings are case number HH2022-03. The filing date, item number 2, is January 11th, 2022. The date of the hearing is today, February 16th, 2022. Finding number 4, the property address is 115 Route 28, map 10, parcel W-11. The owner and applicant is Chelsea Nicholas. 6, the BCRD recording information, which is Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Recording information is book 34071-15. The subject building is at least 100 years old, having been built in 1860, and the building age and source used to determine that is Macris. The demolition proposed is partial demolition as described, as a removal of the window in the kitchen, rear west facing side of the house to provide access to the side yard, addition of a wood deck approximately 10 by 25 to be accessed by a new door. We do make a determination that the building is historically significant. As referenced in item number 9, it has a direct association with one or more historically noteworthy persons or events. It possesses particular architectural value and significance as representative of the recognized architectural style of the period due to the method of construction and materials used or by virtue of association with a historically noteworthy architect, and it's listed in the historic property inventory. Number 10 is where we make our determination whether the proposed demolition would or would not destroy or substantially diminish the historic value or significance of the subject building. So I would propose that in this instance that it would not destroy the historical significance, and would propose that as finding number 10. And the determination therefore is that the matter can proceed as detailed in the application and under this finding.
Gotcha. Can I second that?
So you can adopt it.
I'm gonna, a motion to adopt
Okay, so.
what the chair just said.
So Brendan made the motion, and the second is by whom?
I'll second.
All
No,
right.
let Bob chair it.
Mr. Jonas seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none. Motion carries. The matter is approved.
Great. So moving forward, that should be the format?
So moving forward, I would suggest that you don't necessarily have to read all the findings. You can state the findings as stated in the determination provided by town staff.
Right.
And then you make we make the determination under number 11 that it It does, so you would say if you felt it was going
Under
to.
number 10.
Right,
Right,
under,
and 10,
right, it's
yep.
10 on this one, it might be
Oh, yep.
17 on another one, right?
Understood, yep.
So you would either say that it would or would not
Okay,
destroy. So
Good.
if it would, then you would impose a demolition delay, and if it
Mhm.
wouldn't, then you don't, right?
yeah, that makes sense. I was working off the blank copy.
I
That's
hear
why,
ya.
I was
I hear
wondering
ya.
where you got
Nope,
all that
that's-
information from.
That's fine. That is
Okay.
totally fine.
Thanks for explaining that.
So, you know, probably in another circumstance, when we had an applicant in front of us, probably should have gone through this in line by line, or at
Mhm.
least read it into the record. It's very similar to how John prepares our planning board
Mm-hmm,
staff memos.
yeah.
So it's really converting what's essentially a staff memo into a decision, which I think is great. There you go. Let's see. You'll see, just so that you guys can see on the back, where it says determination, it's demo delay period imposed, and the length of delay if we impose it, no demolition delay imposed or withdrawn without prejudice. So
Mhm.
those would be the options, generally speaking. That is ready for you.
Right, so then that's done.
So that's done.
So next time, just do motion, case number, and just go through some of the findings, and you can paraphrase if you have to,
Yep.
and just get down to the bottom. Okay, that's a better way to do it. And then any conditions, and we sign it, it's ready to go. Nice.
My packet had 2 copies of that form.
Yeah, I'm looking at that myself.
Yeah, one's blank and one is filled out.
So, no, it's actually
No.
not.
No, they're
Um,
both.
Next up somewhere?
It looks like, oh yeah, then there's the blank one.
Well, I got the
No,
blank one,
No,
yeah.
it's,
No, there's one that says it's just on the historic property inventory, and there's one that said it had a direct association with a historically noteworthy person. So, I signed the one that stated Mr. Doan was a historically significant person, and that
Right.
it had some particular architecture that was,
yes, okay, so I see.
that
He
was
giving us
of value and
options.
significance. So for a clarification vote, just so that there's no question, does everyone agree that the historic significance of the building follows under box 2, 3, and 4 of the?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just want to confirm that all members affirm that the vote as stated prior was correct, and that we do feel that the building was historically significant because of a direct association with one or more historically noteworthy persons
Yes.
or events.
Correct.
With the political, cultural, economic, or social history of the town, that it possesses architectural value and significance as a representative of a recognized architectural style or period, or due to the method of construction and materials used, or by virtue of the association with a historically noteworthy architect, and that it was listed on the town's historic property inventory. Everybody agrees? Okay,
Yes.
so we affirmed that earlier vote, so that's good. I didn't notice the differences because I was looking at the one and not the other. So that is great. So
That's
that
great.
item is
Thanks.
done. I think in the future that will.
Yeah, you just run it down the motion, so there's no
Ex-
confusion.
exactly.
And then if there's any conditions, we can throw the conditions at the end.
Exactly.
Okay.
Next item, meeting minutes from January 19th, 2022.
No,
Don't have them, okay.
I didn't.
We'll skip over those. You can put them on the next one. Historic awards for Harwich, discussion and possible vote.
Okay. It's me.
That's you.
To start.
That's her.
So we have talked previously for quite a few years, actually, on whether we should do preservation awards for someone who's done, a good job with either a preservation, upkeeping their house, and there was many categories. And it was, I think I saw it was on Facebook, one of my classmates from high school had made a comment in West Harwich, Beth Williams, that, this is a really good idea, and was commenting on some other award. And so got thinking that we really should do something or move forward with this. So I did some initial work, and I went on various websites, if you want to pass these down, on what different towns do, Chatham, Dennis, and Barnstable. Some of the information was kind of sketchy, and then some, but then it was pretty detailed. And then I looked outside of Cape Cod, and I found some very complex and great things. Some of, like in New York State, was in Upper New York State, has a really very thorough Landmark Society of Western New York Awards. But just to give an idea of the different topics you can give it under, and so that we may want to develop a strategy to do this. So as I say, I passed these out. I don't know if Mary, someone in a subcommittee or something would want to do this, or it's something.
Absolutely. So, subcommittee should be less than a quorum, but we're only 5 right at the moment. Still looking for new members. If anyone who's watching would like to join us, we're looking for extra hands. Are there 2 people that would like to? Anybody that would like to help with Bob? Did you want to do it? You would like to not be on? Okay. Are there 2 people that would like to do it? Lynn, would you like to?
But you started. I don't want to do it by myself.
No. Julia, Brendan, would you like to assist?
Sure.
All right.
Well, what?
So I would say this. I think the first place to start is to look at what kind of Bob's discovered, get a sense of what categories we think we want to do. Maybe it's one commercial, maybe it's one residential.
Well,
Yeah.
that's,
To start with, maybe it's,
you can, through here, there's all kinds
So-
of different categories.
Maybe like
you
a
can give
small
it.
recent renovation of a ranch on Parallel Street would be a good one to start.
so take a look at the examples. I would say that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
To take a look at the examples, and then think about what are some of the things that we could do for the award. Is it a plaque?
Yeah.
If it is a
And
plaque,
then
then
funding as well. Like,
right.
How do we do
right.
funding
If it is
for
a
the
plaque,
plaques?
we need to budget for it in the next.
Chatham does do a plaque,
Yeah.
Right.
so.
I love that
Yes.
idea. We talked about this maybe 2 years ago. I thought it would be a great idea.
So that might be that would be another thing to look into, is to see what, are the plaques, is it a bronze metal plaque, is it like a Chatham Signs wood sign kind of a plaque, what would that
Yeah.
award look like, and then we need to kind of think about budgeting how many we would want to award on an annual basis, and then approach administration about funding, and maybe it's
We can also do homes that were done,
yeah,
4 or
absolutely.
5 years ago too. It doesn't
Well,
have to
and
be-
I know one of them had a thing, it had to be a home that was done in the last 5 years.
Yeah. something.
And most of them are like nominated. Anybody can nominate them, or we
Yep.
could nominate them.
Yep.
But it's usually, or you can nominate yourself even. So it's,
No, I'm fine.
there's different things, and some places don't give awards,
Yep.
and some give multiple in each category.
Yep.
You know,
So I would say take a look at what's there and
No, I think it's a great idea.
meet. Now, subcommittees have to post and notice
Oh.
and do all of those things, so you would have to post and take minutes of a meeting.
It can't be a working committee?
No, because it's a committee.
Well,
One
take the
person
word-
doesn't have to, if it's one person doing it, then no, but as a
Oh.
subcommittee, it would have to.
So you're saying we can't just meet at Dunkin's?
No, you really can't just meet at Dunkin's, you have to, technically a subcommittee to discuss preservation awards, so you would cover yourself by posting and scheduling a meeting here.
But,
We can do that.
Yeah,
yeah, but.
could be at the community center, it could be wherever, wherever you
That's an
can,
idea.
you can get it.
But under open meeting laws,
Mhm.
we can talk one-on-one, can't we, outside of
No.
public meeting?
Once it's defined as a
Technically, no.
subcommittee, that's the
Oh,
issue.
Yes,
Yeah.
so an individual
Mhm.
doesn't have, so if you as an individual wanted to take it on, you could then ask other people for help. But as soon
Okay.
as we designate it as a subcommittee, it's a subcommittee.
Oh, okay.
So, and then it's subject to posting and requirements, and minutes.
Mhm.
The, And it's hard when it's just one person too, because then you're walking that fine line of really, are you acting as a subcommittee when you, and you should be posting anyway. And
Can we just
trying
put
to
it at the
avoid-
end of one of our meetings as open discussion and just
We
do
can
it that
do,
way?
we can do that, if you don't
Or
wanna do a
before.
subcommittee.
Yeah, that works for
Before,
me.
a half
Yeah.
hour before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just bring whatever, maybe task
Yeah.
people to go,
Then therefore, it's part of our meeting and it's
It's
not.
just part, right, it's just
Yeah.
part of our meeting, and it's just a designated portion to discuss.
Yeah, maybe
the
next
agenda
meeting,
Like everything else.
yeah, maybe next meeting, just bring some ideas and then we could set tasks, like maybe, one of us could source what kind of plaque it would be, materialize, and the next meeting come back with that,
I like that.
and then
So would you
That's a
have-
great idea.
someone works on the funding.
Look into it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
But would you have like some sort of form out there that people would complete to
Absolutely.
nominate?
There's some,
It's
Yeah.
Municipal
So
has
that's
a good
what's-
form.
So that's like what's in
Yeah,
here,
form, funding, the plaque,
Mhm.
then,
for your categories.
categories,
Yeah.
There's some work to do there, I guess. So maybe
There
next time,
is. It's
we
definitely
can
some.
sort some
And
tasks.
then
to
there's
be-
advertising for nominations.
Right, and then the other thing is too, there's always, as a group, we can determine whether, like Bob said, some of them have to be done in the last 5 years. Where it's brand new, do you recall the Historic Commission ever doing it one before? Doing preservation awards in years past?
No.
So, I mean,
I
if
mean,
there's,
I haven't been on forever.
if there's
but
something fabulous that that we wanna do, if you
You
wanna.
probably could, I mean,
If you want to
that's.
notice the Brooks Library or
Yeah, yeah.
another
No,
building
and
in
I mean,
town.
that-
Yeah,
that's how
Brooks
you-
would be
you
a
know,
great one, as like,
and that-
when they
that-
kick it off.
The
yeah.
South Harwich Meeting House,
Yeah,
another one that,
exactly.
things like that.
You don't even have to have a 5-year limit.
Right.
I mean, that's whatever rules
Right.
you do. Once you're up and running, you can probably do 5 years, but
Yeah,
maybe not.
yeah, I think we could pick.
So how about
and
the charge for this meeting is that we take a look at the information that you provided us and then come back with ideas
Okay.
for the next meeting. Does
And then
that
we
make
can
sense?
assign tasks
Yeah.
for maybe us. You guys are busy, so. Two busy bodies over here. Well, we'll take care of it. Yeah, maybe
Well-
we can all talk and then you can assign the three of us, a task to do.
Okay.
I'm game for that.
Is that good?
Anytime, Brendan.
Okay.
Whatever you want to take on, Brendan, you go.
Sure, Brenda, go
I don't want to
ahead.
take anything.
And,
Does that sound good? I'm going to
Sounds
speak
good.
for you.
and we have administration fee fund, don't we?
We
Or
have
not?
some money in the budget, but I don't know what it is.
So we
So
should,
I'll
I
reach
mean, I
out
would
and see.
think that could come out of administrative fees.
So
wouldn't
it could, I just don't know what that entails. Like, I
Okay.
don't know how much is there, and it's really designed to cover for, office supplies and
Okay.
postage and advertising and all of those kinds of things, so I don't know
Okay.
what else, I don't know what the budget looks like.
Yeah.
Me?
Okay.
Oh,
'Cause I
could
never
get-
see those bills.
I get here earlier.
So I can, certainly an email I can reach out with and go from there.
Well, I think we're gonna do a part.
That's an easy one.
That's even better.
Yeah, I think the first one,
I
and
don't know
then
if
we
they've
have to do a
had-
subcommittee.
I don't know if they've finalized the budget for next year, or if they've
I
set
know
the
they're
warrant
working
yet.
on it.
Yeah, so,
I'd rather.
we
do
might
it
be
this
too
way.
late, we might be able to sneak something in.
Yeah,
That's all I
So
have.
we'll see, but
Yeah.
So,
I
which is
will,
fine.
I'll put it on the ask tomorrow.
and then
Yeah.
you might have too many cooks.
So, okay, historic awards for Harwich, thanks for doing that research, Bob,
Thanks,
I
Bob.
think
That's
that's,
great.
Thank you.
I think
That's
that's a
great.
really great idea. Gas station, I think we can just take that off of our agenda if he hasn't come in with anything at this point.
Does he want to do a sign or something? Or?
There was,
Canopy?
there was talk
Canopy.
about the fact that he wanted to do a canopy, and he wanted to come in and talk to us before he hired somebody to design something, and we just hasn't come in, and we haven't seen him on anything yet, so we'll wait for him to reach out to us. Old business, Bob is up again on the
Okay.
proposed property study for additional historic properties to inventory.
Take one.
Bob,
and
is there
pass
anything
it
else we
around.
could do for you?
Yes, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, so,
Is this an updated list?
yes, it is.
I think that's a simple.
There should have been, someone take an extra, there should have been one for Patty.
Okay, did I take two by
Did
mistake?
I,
Patty, you can have mine. Yep,
I got a list, I don't have the cover.
you can
What?
have my inventory update when we're done.
Perfect.
All right.
okay. Okay, so, the first topic is the list. This is, last time I presented a list of buildings from, I think it was 1916 to 1922, identified through the assessor's records. However, I did compare it to what Miranda had already done, and it turns out that she had already included quite a few in her reports, because she did a very good effort of doing almost ground up. She looked at architecture, then made the determination to put it on, as opposed to just looking at what the assessor's records were. So there's some overlap. So eliminating those, I came up with 58 approximately properties. Some I already identified as demolished. So these, in order to put these, or what should happen next, is that we do need to get these at least on the spreadsheet for 100 years, so the building department uses that when they cross-reference. But one of the things we need to do is actually go out and see if these buildings are still there, if they had been really, partially demolished or whatever. But we should validate that they were somehow done, that they still look like they're within the region before we do the advanced research. So what I did was I broke up this list and see the colors, color colors.
They are color coded.
So do you pick a color?
So I broke it into 4 tasks, so 4 people,
Okay.
if they'd like to split up and go out. Now, what I did do, and we should discuss this, is I did it by street address. I sorted it so that if you're going down the thing, you'd be all on one street. You could do the street. But here's the issue, is that because it's in alphabetical order, they could be anywhere in town.
Right.
Then I did it by the map number. Now, that means it's going to be
In the
on,
same
in the
vicinity.
same little area,
Right.
same square mile or whatever. So I don't know which is better. Of course, the way the maps are, I think they go across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
They
6.
run this way, yeah.
Yeah, run that way. So you'd get a band or a partial band or something to
Well,
look.
Who lives in what area? So that,
Well, I can do the
But-
first block of blue, because that's all.
Okay,
Yeah, but wait a minute, what report? Because you
which,
have,
you
On
don't
the,
use one
on
of
the
the
map.
report.
Yeah, so that the
You
map,
think the
Because
map
I'm-
is the better way of doing it?
I'm looking at it and I'm thinking yes, just because Strandway, Shore Road, Belmont Road, Elwood Road,
They're
oh, I
all,
see.
Shoal Hope, Shore Road.
they're all very close.
Right, they're all in
Together.
close proximity. I mean,
Yeah.
Braddock Street is where, down
Yeah.
here, but in Harwich Port,
Yeah.
but generally speaking, they're all
Yeah,
close together.
so
Yeah.
you want what color? Ian?
I mean, not that it really matters, I could do any of them, but,
yeah, I
Yeah.
can do any of them, so
Same
I'm
here,
not.
too.
like
Yeah.
because the next one is, the red block is, Neil Road to Lower County and Windermere Road, so, I don't think we're really
yeah. So
stretching it where we're,
You think the-
going crazy.
The map's probably
I
the
do
best
think the
way.
map is probably the best,
So don't
just
Is
my
it the
sense.
ignore
top
it.
sheet or
ignore
the,
The second sheet.
second sheet?
Yeah, very good,
Okay.
yeah.
So I don't,
Left
who
area.
wants to take what? I really have no,
Well, which one did you say you would take, the blue?
The
I mean,
blue.
I can take either the blue or the red. I mean, those are both generally in.
Why don't you take the
in
blue,
my-
I'll take the red.
I'll take the yellow.
I'll take the green.
I mean, the dark green. Well,
Dark
what is
green.
It's
that?
Dark
kind of
green.
greenish, it's
All right.
all.
It's like a,
green.
The like
yeah, it's a light
All
green.
right,
It's
so,
avocado.
It's avocado.
It's
Avocado.
and
so
then the-
Lynn's doing
kinda-
avocado and
Okay.
Julie's doing orange.
Oh, that's what we're doing, okay.
And Bob, what we do, we
Does that
taking
work?
pictures, what's our task?
That would not be a bad idea. Are you willing to take a picture on your phone?
Yeah,
Yeah. That
I'm
would.
getting a
that-
new phone next week, so that'll be
How
perfect.
exciting.
Yeah,
Try that on
if
that.
you did, is just take a picture and on this list, basically just check off whether it does look elderly or make a comment.
Okay.
And we can do that if you print out the pictures on a page or something, you can even write it on the page, just a basic thing if you want.
Patty, do you have access to to a color copier in the building? Does the building department have a color copier?
Yeah, it's community. the community development has
Okay.
a color copy.
So what we can do is, we take the pictures, just save them with the property address and probably the, I don't know, the property address, the map parcel.
Yeah,
Numbers.
the key number is a good one to have.
All right.
If you're doing a separate, because it's real easy to look up in the database.
Okay,
Or, well, it should be.
so however you want it.
Well, I
however-
would just write on the corner, actually, just some comments or something.
Right, but I was just saying, if they
you
save,
take
if they save
picture, yeah.
the picture file
Yeah.
with something that identifies the
Will
property
this picture be
address.
stored in a file somewhere, or do you
We're-
want it on digital
we-
format,
so
or
if you
it'll be
do it-
scanned?
If you can email it to, we can,
Okay.
if
Yeah,
we
just
save
name
them,
name
if
the
we-
file as the street address, the
Yeah.
address or something,
Yeah.
or key number, I don't know.
we can then
Right,
save
key.
them. Patty would be able to have access to them, and we'll,
Okay.
Yeah,
you know,
that'd
we'll be able
great.
to,
Is there a Dropbox
Save them
or
on a
something
file.
we can dump them in?
I don't know that there's a Dropbox per se.
I don't have a Dropbox set up for,
Are you okay with
Right.
getting individual emails? Because if we were to send 10
Oh, it could
pictures,
be.
it may not work.
Yeah.
Depending on if you can
That's
I
why I
receive.
was
would
thinking a Dropbox, and then we could just
I
dump
would
everything.
just, so this
That
is
or
what I
a
would do,
thumb
I would
drive.
give Patty a warning before you start emailing them, or if you have a if the problem with a thumb drive is, you know, your phone, right?
Oh,
You okay
that's
with,
right,
so
yeah.
Pat, if we send you an individual email with the property address and one photo, very simple, could you take that and then save it? Would that be easy to do it that way? Open, save to your drive?
if you, it all depends, you mean if you, it depends on how you send it. If you send it as a picture, okay, then it's a picture, then I have to open that picture up and save it in a Word document, and then save that because it's a picture from your
How
phone.
do you want us to get it to you? Why don't we look at it that way? What's the best way to get a picture to you?
You should be able to email a JPEG file.
Yeah, JPEG file, and you should
save
open it. You
And
have to
save it
save
in
it.
pictures.
If you save it, if you save it in your phone as a JPEG,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just if you forward me an email, I mean, with just the picture attached, it doesn't come as a JPEG, it comes as a pic.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and then if.
But even if it comes as a picture, you should be able to save it on the picture, on
Yeah,
the,
no,
on
there's
the,
just 3 or 4 steps that has
Yeah.
to take place as opposed to.
Oh,
just-
really? You just can't
Yeah.
grab it and throw it in?
No, because it's
Yeah.
not a, it's
That's
just a
why I
picture.
was thinking a
Sometimes
Dropbox
you
or
can-
something like
You have
that.
to format it, it's a pain in the neck.
so we'll,
There's also another option, which gives me more work to do, but, if we have, if we go through the assessors or through the building and print off the address, in the assessor's description, there is a picture of the property.
right, but it's not always the most recent picture of the property,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It's when the,
Right.
like mine is from 10 years ago, it's got an old pink door on the front and a friend's boat in the yard that,
So why don't
And
we
he
just
died 10 years
try
ago,
doing it the
so-
best you possibly can.
Yeah, we'll try. If it
Get it-
doesn't, we'll
get it
take the
to me.
pictures and then we'll see what happens.
And,
yeah.
and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
One thing you do want to do is, you know, the pictures you take are so good that
Right.
they're a couple meg sometimes. When you do attach to an email, you know, you can usually resize.
Yeah.
So
That's nice.
resize
Like the
it
smaller
to,
version?
yeah, it's probably medium
Okay.
at the biggest, and usually that's well below a meg.
Okay. Fair enough.
so when we start, let's
Would
be
you want
kind
this
to
to-
Patty and send 1 or 2 at a time so that, and
Yeah.
see if it
The
works.
department is extremely busy.
Yeah, just to see how it works.
You know,
As well as, I don't want to put this open kind of thing, but I am going on vacation
yeah.
beginning of March.
That's no,
Yeah,
that's
that's
Okay,
no
just so
problem.
that, and I won't be here for the next meeting.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'll try to get you everything prior.
Perfect.
That's
That'd be
fine.
When
great.
do you want these in?
Yeah, when do you want these
Do you
in?
need a deadline?
In a good month or so.
Hmm.
They're
Oh.
next to us, so
Oh.
there'll be something.
Look what's up on the
It
noise.
sounds like somebody's, we used to have battery packs on our computers, so it could have been a battery pack that went wacky.
So, once we go through and we verify these houses are still there and the condition and all that, they're gonna be added to the other list.
Just to the spreadsheet list, the 100-year list.
And is that gonna be updated? Because some of those houses are probably gone. because that was done so long ago.
That's a whole nother project.
Beyond the
You are
scope of
absolutely correct.
what it is.
That some of them have been demolished. In fact, one I just happened to pick on was the one we demolished last.
Right,
That's actually, I think it's in Macris, actually.
is it,
Yeah.
unfortunately?
Which one was that on?
The one on Depot in West Harwich, or North Harwich.
That was on that one.
Yeah.
That was the car accident one, right?
That was the
Yeah,
car
one
accident
that
house.
was- The
Yeah.
car hit it.
I'm orange, right? Is that what I am?
You're
Yeah.
orange,
Okay.
I'm
Brendan
pink.
is,
Pinky red, ready
Red.
pink.
Lynn is avocado green.
I love avocados.
And we're going from the map sort.
Yes,
Map report, yes.
map report.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's great. So then, so we will do this, we'll report back for the next meeting, and then you will add this to the 100-year spreadsheet.
Correct.
And then, one question for you on your research list that, for this, I know you reduced the number of
Mhm.
homes on this. Were there any, there were no, date of constructions that you thought needed to be updated? Because if they were on the old list, they probably had a 1915 date versus like a 1922 date. But 22,
Well,
I suppose
th-
we're
this
in the
is-
100
these-
year now anyways.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, no, these are the assumed date,
Yep, okay,
so they're all between 16 and 22.
okay,
Yeah, so I eliminated anything outside. Yeah, yeah, we're just gonna verify that it is probably that old.
it's in the 100
Yeah.
year range.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So,
because I'm, assuming all the ones before, they've already been done, they're already on the
Yep.
list.
so we'll take some notes, and I will most likely be relying on some of you to assist me with
Oh, absolutely,
my viewing
absolutely.
and what I think. Which is why, for me, the pictures are gonna be important, so.
Yeah, you got a couple down in the campgrounds.
I think that's great, Bob.
So have this done for our next meeting or the meeting after that?
Well,
What the-
If
It's
we
up
can
to
by the
Mary.
next meeting,
Okay.
If we can.
I
Okay.
mean, no harm, no foul if you can't, but, and then Patty, you needed this inventory update from Bob, right? You don't have this,
I don't have what he just handed out,
so
whatever it is.
this,
So, to continue on this,
you take that from me, and then that spreadsheet is what we're all working on.
Thank you.
so again, working on the project, to, where we had the CPA funds. Been working with Sarah Korja from the county and, passing around ideas and really trying to understand what we have and what has been done, because we're finding there are pockets of information that have been done, some wasn't complete or whatever. But one of the things, of course, we do know is that the list that Miranda put together did a very good analysis of the architectural, but they cannot be put in the Macris database because they don't have historical. So the historical research is, at the very minimum, has to include spotting these and identifying the properties using the 4 maps. Did I list them here? Maybe I didn't list them. But the 1858, the 1890, the 1905, and the 1910 have maps where it shows all the property names on them. So that's the first thing you do. It is possible to go to the deed records, but Sarah warned me that, to get more like line of, who owned it before, who owned it after from the maps. But she warned me that that's probably really rather difficult to do and probably not real productive of your time. But the other thing we can do, which I experimented with today, was looking them up in the Harwich Independent. It's online. You can get at the newspapers, starting in it starts in 1880 or so, and goes up. Well, there's different newspapers, but it goes right up to the 50s. And you can do a search on the name, once you have the name of the property or the owner, you can theoretically, you do a search, and you might come up with some some things that this person did, but that'll take a little bit of work. But that's one of the things. But the bottom line is that may be where we want to spend our money, because some of the money, get a quote on, just do the historical part, because then we can get them into Macris and get them categorized into the villages and clusters. So Macris already has 500. They're not complete. Well, they have 500. Some of them don't have architectural descriptions. Some are very good, like the one on the Doan residence there. It's very thorough. That's a good Macris entry. In the old days, the society accepted them without necessarily a lot of detail, and now they're very strict. You have very good architecture description, and you need historical reference. So we have to, on all those original ones that she did, we have to do historical. I think we can define that and put that out to bid, because that allows us to get them into the Macris and into the clusters. And we just have to kind of come up with guidelines on how to look this up. And, the other sources are the Payne history, which really mentions almost everybody in town, as well as that's probably one of the best sources, and Deo's of Barnstable County. And then you have the ship captain's book of Cape Cod or whatever, if you think, because let's say on the map, Captain Uriel Doan or whatever, like it was. So there are various ways to look up the history, so we can do that.
The 1880 map also has some of the houses on it too.
Oh, it does have all of them, and it has the names. Oh, and that's the other part of it. On the maps, it actually shows a pretty good representative of what the house looked like, and then you can check from year to year
To
if
see
there's
if it
been
changed.
additions or it changed or the
Interesting.
barn
That's cool.
disappeared.
I was actually doing a little research on one particular individual for the Historical Society, and I went to Barnstable County Registry of Deeds, and very quick search.
Yeah, it is.
Very quick search.
Yeah.
So that's,
No, and that's one of the things that I always do, but
yeah.
the problem is when you get back to the 1800s, they're all handwritten and they can be devilish to read. But no, that is if you have time, that's a great way to do it, and maybe that'll be one of the things we do ask. Go ahead and look at the Registry of Deeds, and if you can glean anything. We just have to be mindful when we put out the bid. We want to have some idea of how much, we got to define it so they can bid properly, the right price.
So we need to somehow, you're talking about the old original list plus these, putting them out to bid?
Well, no,
Or just
not,
these?
no. Well, that's
I
like,
missed something in the conversation.
yeah, that's like
okay.
3 and 4. That's the original Miranda list that never got into Macris.
Oh, okay.
So, and she identified the clusters, and those all have to be put into Macris. And that takes care of getting the villages filled up, because there's some villages now, they were identified, I want to say 79, and there were 500 entries put into Macris. They're not all complete, but at that time, you could put in anything you wanted, basically.
So essentially, we want to
But,
see those Macris entries updated and
Well,
completed,
I-
and the Miranda ones updated?
no, I want to do, I think the Miranda should go first.
Yep.
Because we want to get them into the Macris
Gotcha.
database. The ones that are there, they just not be complete. And I think that's got to be set aside for further research.
Okay.
And, actually going through and seeing what needs updating and what not. And that would be maybe in a future ask, I think. Then we have the 50 that Miranda did not do full workups on, but I haven't found yet which 50. She did 250 or something and didn't do 50, so I still have to go through the list to find out which 50 weren't done. So those are a target to do. And then the additional 58 we just identified, and those have to be done. The rule of thumb is $300 per property. You get a complete Macris lookup, including the history. So that's kind of, we can do that. We can probably do easily from the whole thing, we can do like 100 properties that way. But I think just doing the history might be half that cost. I'm not sure. And so we can get more done, maybe the whole Miranda list. And Sarah Gorgiev, with her department, wants to do the architecturals. And she may do some of the 50 missing, or even the 50 new ones. So we still have to work through that with her.
So I
So-
also think we have, we have a lot of colleges around too, that there are plenty of architectural
Yeah,
for,
Yeah.
as another place to kind
Right.
of think about
well,
posting.
that is, yeah,
Posting a bid or an RFP.
right.
You never know, it
Right.
might be something a student wants to,
Well, I was thinking of asking, possibly of asking the society to do some of the historical work, but I'm not sure. The capacity seems like the society's pretty stretched now with volunteers. I don't know.
I'm the youngster in the group.
I know,
Seriously, I am the youngster in the group.
yeah.
Half the
Because it-
ladies, I went to school with their kids.
Because, it's actually, the historical part, you can do it from home for the most part.
right.
Yeah,
That's the beauty of it. You
I
don't
know I'm
have to be
opening
able-
myself up, but I love research.
Yeah,
So, you give me
yeah,
a task, I'll
I'd do that,
tackle to a point,
yeah.
tackle what I can.
So what's your next best step for you, Bob? Is
I
it,
is,
Is
I
it
want to
kind of-
find the 50.
okay,
I want to now go back to Sarah and just talk a little bit more
Mm-hmm. yeah,
of what she
figure out which
wants to
ones,
do,
yep,
what they want to do, and then come back with the actual proposal for the RFP.
perfect.
And I do have the last RFP, and I've got another sample that was a bigger RFP.
Okay,
So we've got the documents that we can pretty much map and put in. The
Okay.
work's kind of been done, it's just
Awesome.
tailoring it and then
Awesome.
getting the RFP out.
great.
Since I'm a newbie with all
Yeah.
of this and just trying to figure out how everything works, just out of curiosity, this new list, after everything has been nailed down as to
Right.
what is old, really old and fits on the list, do we send a notice to those homeowners that their house is now within this 100-year? Because you've got people that are just gonna go out and paint their house whatever color they want,
Well,
for an
that's okay,
example,
but-
and
Yeah.
So really what it is, it's the 100-year only applies to demolition,
okay.
under the demolition delay bylaw. If they're in a historic district, then it's a certificate of appropriateness, so they can't really, they're not supposed to do anything when they're in a historic district. So, and really the onus is on the property owner to know that. So we don't per se notify everybody that, you're on the 100-year list when they come in for their building permit, which they're supposed to do when they're doing demolition or adding an addition onto their home. The building department checks the list,
Right.
and then we'll tell them to come to historic.
And
It's
the
typically how it
100-year list is on our
It is
website.
online, right,
So you can go
Yeah,
up
that's where I
and
found it.
right.
print it out or
But
whatever.
no,
and-
historically, we haven't sent a notice out to,
Okay, here's a really dumb question.
no such thing.
I know this is a historic district here,
Correct.
Yeah,
West Harwich.
is not a
Captain's
historic
Road.
district.
Is this the only historic district in town?
Yes.
So Bank Street isn't,
Harwich Board isn't.
Harwichport isn't?
Nope.
Are there any plans to actually include those, or is that something
So-
that is a can of worms we don't want to open?
At one point, the town did talk about putting a historic district in West Harwich, and I think that failed at town meeting, if I remember.
Boy, I don't
Was a-
remember that. That was a long time ago.
But wasn't there a proposal for it? I thought
I don't
had
think
gone
it
that
ever got
far.
off the ground, but
So-
unless it was like 20 years ago, then maybe.
There's,
But now West Harwich is what, an overlay district?
so what West Harwich is a district of critical planning concern, which allows you to put in some guidelines and
Mhm.
and try and do things through zoning.
Right.
Now, maybe it should just be a historic district.
Well, that's,
But, district of critical planning concerns certainly loop in the Cape Cod Commission. So that's another whole consideration. A local historic district, the nice part about a local district is that we essentially have control over
Right.
what the approval is. It's not going to a Cape Cod Commissioner or somebody else for
Right.
additional permitting. So there, no plans as of right now for anything else. This
But-
is the district, but
The West Harwich would be a good possibility, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of research has been done.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a possibility if we wanted to tackle that one. Might be
Main Street.
advantageous.
It's another,
Yeah, well, that's, in fact, that's the one Sarah Gorgiev is really concerned about, is because a lot of the Bank Street properties are not in Macris, yet they have been identified. So that's why she's very anxious to get those in the Macris database,
gotcha.
because it is, they're
Yeah,
so
most of Bank
gorgeous. Oh, my
Right.
God, those are really gorgeous homes. Never really appreciated them.
well, it's nice to see that the Huntsold farm home
Yeah,
is being cleaned up.
right, yeah,
I guess someone's finally taken it over and
yeah.
fixing it up.
Wasn't that the best, getting Hunt strawberries in June?
Corn and tomatoes.
Going down,
Now you're
waiting
just teasing
for
us.
him, waiting for him to come back from the field
remember
at
it's
10 o'clock in
February?
the morning.
We were going to the little portico area
Yeah,
and,
yeah, exactly,
she'd be sitting there and he'd be getting the veggies.
That's awesome.
exactly.
That's fantastic.
Sorry.
No, not at all.
that's-
So I think we have a plan for what's next
Yep.
on that,
Great.
so that's fantastic.
Update
Thank
for
you.
next
Thank you, Bob.
month.
Any other reports from commission members? Would you like to talk about CPC?
Yeah, I mean, we approved are recommending to go to town meeting, the cemetery, South Harwich meeting, South Harwich Cemetery, to get the gravestones repaired and cleaned up. Let's see, what other?
I think that was the
That
only,
was
I
that
think
was
that was
the
the only
real
historic one this
historic
one,
yeah.
this time
So-
around.
It's the one on Chatham Road?
Yes,
Yes, it
Yes.
was the East Howard.
Church Street?
yeah, Church Street.
Okay.
Oh,
Church Street, yeah, that's it,
East
yeah.
Harwich.
East Harwich, yeah.
Yes, so we did vote those
Mm-hmm.
a couple of weeks ago. So town meeting approval will hopefully be forthcoming.
I was gonna say, is there a demo delay?
Good job on spending the money,
Well,
Bob.
this is the demo delay.
Yeah, for
Is
town
that,
meeting.
have we got any hope for
Right.
that?
That is,
know.
it's supposed to be on the warrant. They had voted already to approve to put it on the warrant, so.
Did they?
Oh,
I
good.
did not know
Yes,
that.
they did that at,
Now
a
was,
meeting quite a while ago, I would say last fall.
It was on
Maybe
the
when,
phone.
really?
But the
No.
demo by neglect is not on there.
Well, that's what John
John said we
wanted
should
to.
drop that.
right, so that's, if it's a change, you can always make changes from the floor
Yeah.
on town meeting, but it
Something to
is
think
supposed to
about.
be on the
He
town
had a
meeting
really
warrant.
good point. I thought about that a lot. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So we can, it is supposed to be on the warrant, I haven't heard that it's not gonna be on the warrant, so.
Is that how it works? It either all has to pass or
no, you can make
No, you can make amendments
we
from the
can make
floor.
amendments before?
It's
Is it-
very hard doing a bylaw as a, from
Yeah.
the floor, but, if there's a real concern about that language, we can certainly ask, John or ask town council to give us a recommendation on how to amend the bylaw, and
didn't-
we can address that in a motion.
And didn't we, but we already passed that by Koppelman or whoever our attorneys are, didn't we, that whole bylaw?
It was run by town, it
town
was run
council.
by town council, but they wouldn't necessarily look at it in the same way that a staff would when you're talking about enforcement. So
Okay.
like,
Well, because I know John was very concerned that it might even be not legal to do that,
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one, by neglect?
by neglect,
Yeah,
yeah.
because then you kind of have to blanket the entire town. You can't just, right? It wasn't
And he
just.
said that might be better to do the whole town as just a,
right,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what it was,
yeah,
not
so if
just.
you blanket everything, it also hits us as well as everyone else. Something to think
Can,
about.
can you inquire to John
We can.
about that to see, I mean, is it too late to, if we decide as a group to drop that for now, is it too late, or?
to drop in that section or
Section,
the
yeah.
whole,
No,
or the
that
whole
section.
bylaw, just that section? We can ask.
Yeah,
I don't know if they finalized the warrant yet. I don't
think so.
I don't think it's
No.
been passed yet, so we can
Right.
reach out to John and
Yeah, let's find out just
administration
and
and-
have him really.
Should we present at town meeting?
Oh, yeah.
The importance of that?
You know, we should really do something before.
So what would happen typically
Like
is,
like a forum?
Yeah.
I would think we would be the sponsor of the article at town meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So then we would prepare a report and have somebody speak to it at town meeting,
Yeah.
to the importance of the bylaw, and presumably a member of the historic commission would be the person to make the positive motion from the floor.
Okay.
You know, typically on a situation like that, it wouldn't be FinCom, where it's usually FinCom. In that situation, it would be
Right.
like a member from the floor, or like planning board would on a zoning matter, something like that. So certainly I'll reach out to administration in the morning
Because
and
we-
John and talk about,
We should have a public hearing on this, don't you think?
so we certainly can.
You know, just, and so we get some notice. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
a,
think a lot of people would be blindsided at town meeting.
it's a general
if we-
bylaw,
Yeah,
it's
'cause
not
no
a,
one's really like, yeah, it would be just to tell our side of why we think it's important. So, yeah.
so
makes sense.
we can certainly talk about putting together a public hearing date,
Yeah,
and we'll talk to administration, see what
yeah,
the good timing is on it, just for us to give a report.
yeah.
It's not a zoning bylaw, so zoning bylaws have to have a public hearing.
Oh, they have to?
So
Yeah,
planning board typically holds a public hearing, and on any kind of zoning bylaw, those timeframes have to happen.
right.
Like they have to hold a public
Mhm.
hearing, they have to advertise it, they have to report out either in favor or not in favor. Where it's a general bylaw, it doesn't necessarily fall under the same
Still
kind of
needs
category.
2/3 vote though, doesn't it? at town
I
meeting?
don't believe so. If it's a general bylaw, I think it's only a 50.
Okay.
I will double check that though. I'll double check. It's typically zoning that needs
Yeah.
2/3.
Yeah.
So, and this shouldn't, we're not zoning anything, we're strictly doing,
Mhm.
doing a demolition delay, so, and that's under our general bylaws.
Yeah.
So, I will follow up on that tomorrow as well.
Oh, and don't forget the pink are actually on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah, I got the pink, yeah, so that's me, yep.
There are also other things that we could do, you know, if we wanted to put a post together for Channel 18, see if we could,
Oh, absolutely.
or if somebody wanted to
Yeah,
go on one of the Channel 18 shows,
absolutely.
see if you could do something like that, so we can reach out and do all that. Julie's shaking her head, not a chance.
Had enough
What's this?
Zoom calls over the past couple of years.
So,
Yeah, that's even more, very effective, 18, at least getting the word out.
okay, so, we can do all of those.
Do we have to address that, or no?
No,
Okay.
so, emails came in too late to be on an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So correspondence comes in on a meeting agenda, and then we'll address it then.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right?
Excellent.
Anything else?
I don't know if we actually took roll call at the beginning of the meeting.
Well,
Yeah, we didn't.
we didn't, so we'll do it now, just to confirm.
Yeah.
Those who are in attendance are, to my left,
Robert Doan?
Brendan Lowney?
Lynn Zalisak.
Julia Eldridge?
and Mary Maslowski.
That's right.
So, that being said, the Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by
Second.
Brendan, seconded by Mr. Doan, all in favor.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries, we are adjourned.
And we have homework.
And we have homework.
We have homework.
Bob.
We have homework from Bob, lots of it. Patty, could you hit the off button for us?
I feel like we're giving Patty a lot of homework. That's just gonna
Patty
happen.
can handle it.